Okay, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. And double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, you Akim out there that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity. It's going to be a real quick lesson on the service of the Lord during the day of martial law, during the time of Jacob's trouble. The service of the Lord is going to eat, drink, and be merry and rejoice in that time, because while we have, if I'm a part of the elect, I am, we're going to rejoice over those that scoffed at the words of the Most High and now they ain't dire straits. We're going to drink and be merry and watch the downfall of Esau, the 2/3 of you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that came up against the prophets of the Lord. So in that time, y'all going to be in a situation that y'all can't get out of, man. You're going to find yourselves in a rough situation, man. Getting snatched up, tossed into concentration camps. You know, watching your woman get raped in front of you, your children, being separated from your family, not being able to feed your family, because there's going to be a major famine in the land because of martial laws. They're going to lock down every major bridge and tunnel that's leading in and out of New York and whatever state you're in. Ultimately, the whole of America, which is Babylon according to the Bible, is going to be in martial law. Martial law, or in a state of emergency. So the Lincoln Tunnel, the Harlem Tunnel, the George Washington Bridge, and any other bridge that's a major, traveling hub is going to be locked down, man. That means no food coming into the inner cities. And that's going to produce a famine. Also, it's going to produce insurrection because people is going to bug out, man. Because they can't feed their families. They're going to be robbing one another. Destroying one another. There's going to be riots, race wars. All hell's going to be breaking loose. But meanwhile, the service of the Lord, they're going to be kept and protected in that time. They're going to be kept and protected from the hour of martial law. They're going to be kept and protected from the time of worldwide famine. They're going to be kept and protected from the time of the pestilence. But the 2/3 of you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans that ain't right in the spirit, that scoffed and scorned, that came up against the prophets of the Lord, it's going to be a tough time for you all. I have a couple of precepts to get into. You Akim out there will be edified. And this is 2nd Ezra chapter 2 verse start at 26. 2nd Ezra 2 verse 26. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among their numbers. I'm going to read it again, Salakia. It says, 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 26. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish. Why? Because during that time, the Most High is going to keep us, man. It tells you in Isaiah the 65th chapter, which I'm going to get, that the Lord's servant is going to eat. It says, for I will require them from among thy number. Verse 27, be not weary, for when the day of trouble in heaven is coming, which is the day of Jacob's trouble, during the time of martial law, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have an abundance. Because during that time, the Most High Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai is going to take care of His servants, man. The men out there being sincere on the hows and the bows, in season, out of season, teaching 100% truth, pushing His word wholeheartedly out there, man. Putting up videos week in and week out, dealing with the scoffers and the scorners, and the haters that come up against Great Millstone to demonize us. You understand what I'm saying? These are the men that called upon the name of the Most High, that stood stiffly for that name. So they're going to be rewarded, man. They're going to be rewarded in that time, man. They are not going to be in dire straits like the 2/3, Esau, and the rest of the nations, man. It says, but thou shalt be merry and have an abundance. It says, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord, man. They're going to watch us rejoice. They're going to watch us have a merry heart. They're going to watch us being taken care of. And like it says in the scriptures, they're not going to be able to do nothing to us, man. They're not going to be able to bring any harm to us. Why? Because we're going to be protected in that time. Real quick precept. This is Isaiah chapter 65, verse 13. It says, matter of fact, I'm going to go to 14. Behold, my servants. It says, matter of fact, I'm going to go to 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. It says, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And who's going to be ashamed? All the men that's a part of this thing of ours that fell out this truth. All the scoffers and scorners that came up against Great Millstone with their lies and their deception, calling us rapists, calling us pedophiles. They're straight demonizing us, man. And not their man in Great Millstone have ever committed a horrific act like that. Because we'd be tossed under the jail, man, if that was the case. See, all the scoffers and scorners and every man and woman that came up against Great Millstone and any other prophet out there that's doing the work of the Most High and sincerity, teaching 100% truth, y'all going to be ashamed at that time, man. And this is talking directly toward the 2/3 too, man. The 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that choose not to come back into the fold, that choose not to get right with the Most High, man. Ultimately, the Most High rejected y'all. That's why y'all can't get this, man. That's why y'all part of the 2/3 club. Y'all going to be ashamed as well, man. It says, back in Isaiah 65, verse 13, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Who's going to be hungry? The 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, the scoffers, the scorners, the low level of Esau and the rest of the nation that's dwelling in Babylon at that time, man. It says, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Hey, man, the water's going to be contaminated, man. But the Lord is going to find a way for his servants to drink and eat and be merry, man, at that time. But like I said, the 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, man, y'all going to be in dire straits. You see what I'm saying? It says, behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, man. We're going to be singing, you know, I'm praising the words of the most, praising the Lord, Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, man. Singing the words of this book right here, man. Giving praise and glory to the Almighty Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shah. That's the singing we're going to be doing, man. We're going to be singing for joy of heart, man. Praising the Lord, man. Reading these scriptures. And giving thanks. It says, behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit, man. You're gonna be howling and weeping and wailing, man, because you're not gonna be able to feed your children. They're gonna be kicking your doors in 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, snatching you up, putting you in different vans and taking you to different concentration camps. Your women gonna get raped. Even your sons gonna be raped, your daughters. Because Esau is a homosexual by nature, man. These Gurkha troops, Interpol, the UN troops, is going to be mixed nations. They're not going to understand not one word you're saying, and you're not going to understand not one word they're saying. So therefore, you're not going to be able to comply with them, and they're going to gun you down, man. That's the dire straits and the vexation and the howling that's going to go on during that time, man. All hell is going to break loose. And that's going to be the time of Jacob's trouble. But the Lord's servants, like I'm reading right now in Isaiah the 65th chapter, the 13th and the 14th verses, the Lord's servants going to eat, man, and be singing for joy of heart and drinking and laughing at the calamity of those that came up against the prophets of the Lord, man. With demonizing, first and foremost, by demonizing us, by getting on a comment board talking shit, by walking past the camp talking they shit. We're going to rejoice when we see their downfall, man. It says, back in Isaiah, back in 2nd Ezra chapter 2 verse, I'm going to read it from the top again, 27. Be not worried, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have an abundance, man. I just read that in Isaiah the 65th chapter, the 13th and 14th verse. How the service of the Lord is going to be eating and drinking and singing for joy of heart, man. While the rest of you clowns out there that came up against Great Millstone and try to demonize us and try to cast dirt upon our name, man. You're going to be sorrowful. You're going to be in a sorrowful state. You're going to be howling, weeping, and you're going to be being vexed in the spirit. It says, verse 28, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall not slack it. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, man. Verse 29, my hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell, man. To our families, man. We ain't going to see hell. Us and our families not going to see hell in that time, man. And that's going to be a grave, dire situation in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. When all hell break loose. It's going to be, 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are going to be in dire straits. You're going to be in dire straits, and it's going to be most just because when you had liberty to come back in the fold and to learn on Yahweh Shah, you scoffed at him, man. You scoffed at his prophets. You talk shit. You try to demonize us. And not just the likes of Vocab Malone, but 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, man. You see what I'm saying? You're going to be in dire straits, man. It says, my hand shall, back in 2nd Ezra 2 and 29, my hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell, man. And that's going into the elect, man. The elect and their children is not going to see hell, man, during that time. Because all hell is going to break loose. One more precept before I close it out. This is Psalms chapter 37, verse 19. It says, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time. Who's not going to be ashamed in the evil time, man? The 1/3, man, the 144,000. They're not going to be ashamed in that evil time. What's that evil time? Jacob's trouble, martial law, famine, great famine, much distress upon the earth, man. Far worse than 70 AD. Because Esau, the so-called white man, is going to start showing his horns. The Lord Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah is going to allow Esau, the so-called white man, to show his horns. You understand me? It says, back in Psalms 37, verse 19, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied, man. Just like it says in Isaiah, the 65th chapter, the 13th and the 14th verse. The servants of the Lord is going to eat, drink, and be merry and sing for joy of heart, man. But the rest of you clowns that was a part of this thing of ours and fell out and went back into the world, you're going to be ashamed in that time. The 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that scoffed and scorned and came up against the prophets of the Lord, you're going to be ashamed in that time, man. It says, and you're going to suffer greatly. It says, verse 20, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume into the smoke, into smoke shall they consume away, man. Because ultimately, at the end of all that, thermonuclear destruction, concentrated fire from them laser beams. The wicked, who is Esau, which is the so-called white man, he is the wicked, but 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, you're falling in that category too. You're wicked as hell too, man. Actually, your deeds surpass the deeds of Esau. You know? So look forward to dire straits. Look forward to vexation of spirit. Look forward to evil times to come, man. Because it's coming. Martial law is coming, man. Famine and great death and destruction is coming. And with that, once again, I give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.